Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're doing another round of French lesbian movies, because you all loved the last two lists, and honestly, France has way more good ones than I expected. Let's just get straight into it. Number 1. Summertime. Set in the countryside of southwestern France in the early 1970s, this film follows Delphine, a young woman from a farming family who leaves home for Paris and finds herself drawn into the vibrant world of the women's liberation movement taking shape in the city at the time. There she meets Carole, a passionate and outspoken activist who is deeply involved in organizing feminist demonstrations and consciousness-raising groups, and the two women form a close bond that gradually develops into a romantic relationship. Their connection unfolds against the backdrop of a period of significant social change, with the film weaving Delphine and Carole's personal story together with the broader history of the feminist movement in France, including its debates, its solidarity, and its internal tensions. When Delphine's father becomes ill, she is called back to the family farm, and the film shifts its focus to the difficulty of maintaining the relationship across this divide, as Delphine finds herself torn between the freedom and openness she experienced in Paris and the responsibilities and expectations of her rural, conservative upbringing. Carole eventually follows her to the countryside, and much of the film's second half is devoted to the challenges the couple faces, trying to build a life together in a setting far less accepting than the one where their relationship began, including the pressure of keeping their relationship hidden from Delphine's mother and the wider community. The film is notable for portraying a lesbian relationship within the specific historical context of second-wave feminism, showing how personal desire and political awakening were often deeply intertwined for women during this era. It has been praised for the naturalism of its lead performances and for depicting a same-sex relationship with warmth and complexity rather than treating it as a source of tragedy alone. Number 2. French twist. This film follows Loli, a woman living a comfortable but increasingly unhappy life in the French countryside with her husband Laurent, who has been carrying on a string of affairs that she has largely chosen to overlook. When Laurent's car breaks down on a rural road, he ends up bringing home a stranded traveler named Mario, a confident and openly lesbian woman who is on her way through the area, offering her a place to stay for the night as a simple act of hospitality. What begins as a brief favor turns into something much more complicated when Mario and Loli form an unexpected connection, with Mario recognizing how unhappy Loli is in her marriage and gently drawing her out of her shell. The two women grow close, and their relationship develops into a romantic and sexual one, much to the shock and eventual jealousy of Laurent, who had not anticipated that his wife's attention would be captured by the very woman he casually invited into their home. Rather than the household dissolving into conflict, the film takes the situation in an unconventional direction, with all three of them eventually settling into an unusual domestic arrangement, as Loli refuses to simply choose between her husband and her new love, and instead tries to find a way to keep both relationships in her life at once. The film uses this setup to comment on marriage, monogamy, and gender roles, wrapping serious themes about a woman's autonomy and desire inside a broad, satirical comedy. Mario's confidence and her open queerness stand in contrast to Laurent's controlling jealousy, and the film ultimately sides with Loli's right to define what kind of relationships work for her, even when that definition does not fit neatly into traditional categories. It became one of the more widely seen French comedies dealing with a lesbian relationship at the time of its release, notable for putting a same-sex relationship at the center of a mainstream commercial film rather than confining it to art house cinema. Number 3. 8 Women. Set in a snowed-in country house in the 1950s, this film brings together 8 women, spanning 3 generations of one family, along with 2 members of the household staff, after the family patriarch is found murdered with a knife in his back, with the killer clearly still among them. As a snowstorm cuts off the house from the outside world and rules out any suspects from beyond its walls, the women begin turning on each other, and long-buried secrets, rivalries, and hidden relationships start coming to the surface one after another. Among these revelations is a relationship between 2 of the women in the household, whose closeness turns out to run far deeper than anyone else in the family had realized, adding another layer to the tangled web of motives that the murder investigation uncovers. The film is structured as a stylish musical mystery, with each of the 8 women given a solo musical number that reveals more about her personality and secrets, all set within a heightened, theatrical version of a classic drawing room whodunit. Despite its glamorous surface and comedic tone, the film does not treat the lesbian relationship at its center as a punchline, instead allowing it to stand as one of the more sincere emotional threads running beneath the film's campy exterior. The ensemble cast of prominent French actresses each get a moment to shine, and the film's blend of Douglas Sirk-style melodrama, classic mystery conventions, and full-blown musical numbers has made it something of a cult favorite. It stands out among French Sapphic-adjacent films for hiding real emotional stakes and queer intimacy inside what looks, on the surface, like pure stylish entertainment. That's it for today's list. Let me know in the comments if you've seen any of these, and drop more French recommendations down below if you've got them. Like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you in the next video.